Attack of the show. Attack.
All right, so you remember that time you spilled a Pepsi on your PS3 and you thought it was the worst spill ever? It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. In fact, the repercussions of this massive oil spill will be haunting us and the animals living in the region for decades to come. So I went to the Gulf to get a closer look.
The time for waiting is over. Again, we're calling on the Coast Guard and the federal government to force BP to act responsibly, either begin the work themselves or get out of the way and just give us the money. We'll get it done ourselves.
The BP oil spill is an unprecedented national disaster unfolding in the Gulf Coast. And although the situation is dire for those on land, it's far more devastating for those in the water. I chartered a boat to see just how bad this devastation really is. All right, we're right in the middle of Pereira Bay, and here behind me there should be hundreds of healthy pelicans. To my ignorant eyes, I looked at them and thought, okay, they're just fine, and then I was told actually the color on their bellies, and in fact on one guy up in front here who can't even fly right now, it's actually oil that's coated their feathers.
Between our marshes, the flower gardens to the west, and the Florida Keys, this oil spill could possibly absolutely destroy 3 of the most important ecosystems in the whole United States.
The Coast Guard and BP have been using containment booms in an attempt to capture or absorb the oil. When you see all the boom deployed around all the little islands and everywhere, you assume that it's doing some good, right? Why would they throw it out there other than to give you the appearance that it's doing good? I mean, I want to grab them and bring them over there, but I don't know if I should be, you know? Yeah, don't worry, the oil that the boom doesn't absorb, the birds will. Everything's fine, BP. They got it. Mother Nature's got this one. BP has even hired cleanup crews to rescue oil-soaked marine life. The workers can't talk on camera because they work for BP. Look at this right here. Look at this poor guy.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
This is how we're finding most of them. Because they got to get to this point before we can actually catch them. We see what's on the top, and you never really see what's underneath, or you see the sheen. Over here, you can see clunks, and that's on the bottom. And the oyster beds are all over here, and that's going to be, once that's on top of those oyster beds, what's going to grow there? Nothing's going to grow there. If I hadn't gone out there today, I probably would have said it's not going to get that bad. And then when you get out there, and I did tell you I get a little...
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, when you see it, it's different. You know,
I followed the oil-soaked pelicans back to the relief center. You guys are processing how many birds a day? You said you had 53
Well, we
yesterday?
were processing like up to 5, and,
right.
you know, and now we're processing, yesterday was 53. To wash a pelican, it takes about an hour or so, but these birds that are so covered, if they're lightly covered, not as long. We've been doing them in 40 to 45 minutes, but these are going to take longer.
There's crates set up rather for oiled birds and non-oiled birds, and so they keep them nice and segregated, but there's a whole pen with a tiny little net on it right here, and there's, I don't know, probably 10 birds in there that are just covered, I mean, head to toe. And these are the ones that they could catch because they couldn't get away. They're literally covered and encumbered in oil.
The difference here is that this oil keeps coming.
Right.
And it keeps pumping and pumping, and therefore there's no end in sight.
I've seen their attempts to clean up the birds, but what about the thousands of barrels of oil pouring into the ocean each day? One tactic employed by BP has sparked a huge controversy. This is a lot worse than it looks because they sprayed gallons and gallons of Corexit 9500 all over everything. So instead of seeing just thick, thick layers of oil, you're seeing these little tar balls washing up. This is sick. BP is using a questionable chemical dispersant called Corexit, which is a solvent that turns oil slicks into oil clumps. BP claims it makes it easy for cleanup, but critics say it endangers animals, and the only thing it's really cleaning up is BP's image by making the giant oil slicks appear smaller in the PR-damaging photos.
BP has said you would not use something unless it was EPA approved, unless it was available in specific quantities, and yet studies have shown on silverfish and on shrimp specifically that Corexit is exponentially more dangerous than other dispersants that are available out there.
We are using an EPA-approved product. We are using a product that has low toxicity, and the research that we've done into the alternatives does not show us that we have anything else viable to use at this time in the volume that we're using.
I've seen guys that have volunteered to clean up birds that were working for BP. The hulls of their boats, whether it's from the oil or from the Corexit, are being eaten through. And they're saying, I volunteered this ship to help with this effort. There's no way BP is going to pay me back for that.
Yes, they will. The claim process is not perfect yet, and I hope that at some point it will be. But we're working on it, and yes, they will be paid.
The chemical composition, the ingredients in Corexit aren't publicly known. That it'd be nice to know what's in there so that people can do their own tests or come to their own conclusions about it. The Coast Guard said it's available, but online it actually says proprietary under ingredients. Is there any way to get that released?
It's my understanding that it had been shared with the incident command because of the volumes we were using it in. But you make a very good point about the proprietary side of it. I mean, obviously you can't share your proprietary information, but
well, I think you should share your proprietary information if it could be eating through kidneys.
When they pay us, we don't know. We're on BP dollars. It's just monopoly money. That's all it is.
Have you invoiced them? Do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't got a dime.
Right now, oh, it's great. We got all these oil people here. Yeah, they're paying right now, but a year from now, when they're all gone and it's devastated, like I said, then it gets home. You know, it gets home. It's not on TV.
I get the sense that people down here, they have all the dots. They just haven't connected some of them. And it's not because they're not capable of connecting them, it's because of the reality that they would face if they did. And what I mean by that is, every conversation I can talk about BP's connections to the dispersant company. There's a connection there, that BP has money to be made by using it. They get that BP has control of the Coast Guard. They get that they might not really understand how to solve this problem. They get that the politicians are telling them exactly what they need to hear, and sometimes they're being strung along. So they get all these dots, but to connect them would mean giving up hope. I would like to take a special moment to give out some thank yous to the people that I met down there who were nothing but incredibly warm and friendly and hospitable, despite the terrible and dismal circumstances. So huge thank you to Captain Mike Ellis and his crew, relentlessportfishing.net, Captain Zach and his crew over at fryandpanfishing.com. He is an amazing guy. Captain Kevin Aderhold and his crew, strikezonecharters.net and woodlandplantation.com. They took incredible care of us while we were there. And I asked yesterday, Billy Nungesser, who the Plaquemines Parish president, I said, what can we do? We're motivated. And I felt the answer was a little BS. It was, well, stick it to BP. Anybody here know how you can stick it to BP? No. I mean, you could join a Facebook fan page group and say you're going to boycott them, and that's great. Do everything you can. But there's really only two ways to help from what I've seen. One is visit. They need your tourism dollars. They need them now more than ever, and they need your support, and they want it in person. So if you can get down there, please do. You'll find amazing people. You'll find great food and an amazing spirit. It will change your life. If you can't get there, if you can't afford it, you can't make the trip, that's okay. Talk about it. Don't let this story go away. Don't get tired of seeing it on Twitter or on television. You know, I know Attack of the Show is a break for many people, and I appreciate it if you took the time to watch something like this and what would normally be a recess from the real world. But talk about the story, be motivated about it, stay involved and stay educated about it, because everybody is going to try to lie to you about the real truth that's going on down there, but the information's out there. So please be outspoken, and thank you guys for watching that and letting me do that.
I know I made a joke about you being Anderson Cooper earlier on, but I'm glad you're doing this.